how do you handle like when you get to the part in the call where you're trying to understand the risk if they don't do something about their goals? Sometimes I stumble upon I do a fitness offer for women. Sometimes the women will say like, well, it's not really that big of a deal if I don't do it. So like how do you dig deeper to actually create that urgency when they
What did
kind of
your
seem very nonchalant about like whether they do it or not?
how detailed do you feel your outline the dream was?
Of like where do they want to see themselves?
Yeah. Because the point of risk of the future is to build a gap between the dream future they have and so they actually feel like they have something at risk. If they don't feel like they have something at risk, they're going to tell you, "Oh, I mean, it'll be okay." Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be fine. So they don't feel they have anything to lose if this problem actually continues. Okay. So firstly, I would look it's kind of like a waterfall at the end of the day. So everything kind of starts from the top, and then at the bottom is where everything just like collapses, crashes, and then the emotional waves, the whole shit. Point is this, okay? The better you get at reveal the root, but also the important pieces for this is going to be reveal the root, reframe the gap, and outline the dream to make risk of the future actually make sense, right? Because if they have a core understanding of their problem, right? And for you, I think you had mentioned that sometimes you get on calls with people who they want to lose like 10 pounds or so. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes.
Is that who you're dealing with that's giving you that answer?
No, it's more so the women who are like, oh, like I'm happy where I'm at, but I just want to get a little more toned.
Oh, okay.
Because
Why
the ones who
exactly do
want to
they want
lose
to
weight,
get
it's like super easy because they do get more emotional and it's like it's
yeah.
kind of more of a no-brainer that they need this. But it's the ones that get on the calls and just like, I'm just like wanting to level up or something. And sometimes they do have good reasons as to why they want to do that. And I am able to reveal the root, but then some of them are just like, it's
I
almost like they're
feel
just curious and they're not actually like serious about it.
okay, and your leads, they're mostly buyer leads, right? Or no?
No, we have a lead generator through like Instagram, so through like paid
Okay.
ads and everything, and they come through Instagram and then we have a setting process.
Okay, so it's a setting process. In terms of that, do they watch a VSL before they actually get to booked on a setters thing or anything like that, or what's the process for that?
Um, they basically reach out to the coach via DM. The setters go in and ask them a bunch of setting questions, then they book
Hmm.
the call, and then they get to watch a video before, and then it instructs them to please watch this video before you hop on the call.
Okay, and for you, because I always ask because it could be a few things, but you tell me how consistently does this like is this a very consistent thing that you run into that ends up making you not close a decent chunk of deals?
Um, yeah, I would say it probably happens at least like 30-40% of the time.
Okay. I would say then your discovery piece in terms of why this is actually important to them is important. Nobody's going to click on an ad, go through a setter call, and then get on another call if it wasn't them or they didn't have something as a reason to why it's important. So I would say start from the top in terms of the revealing the root portion of things. That's going to be a huge piece in terms of understanding why they can't quote unquote tone up on their own, but also getting an understanding of instead of the concern question, what I would do for you is for those people, I would just ask them, okay, and like, some people are just happy where you are. Like they're perfectly fine being where you are. So getting, toned up or losing this little bit of extra weight, like why is that even important to you? Right? Get them to challenge themselves on that because I wouldn't ask a concern question for them because there's not probably going to be, too big of a concern, but get the why. And most of the time it'll maybe give them a little increment of confidence. Maybe their husband's an asshole and, doesn't like their body where it's at. I don't know. It could be anything, but I think that's going to give you a better answer to work down from as opposed to right now. Are you asking the concern question or what question are you asking throughout like reveal the root to extract that?
Yeah, so when this is the case, I most of the time they tell me on their own that yeah, I'm kind of fine where I'm at. I just want to get a little more toned. So then I do ask the question, okay, well, if you're totally fine with where you're at right now, then why is this important to you? I do ask that. And they kind of just give me a vague answer.
Downplay it. You have to do the thing we're saying. People are happy. They're super happy. People will die to be where you are right now, right? Like,
Mhm.
why do you still want to tone up? Do a little bit of enthusiasm so they feel they need to
Mhm.
give you an answer, right? I would The tonality there is going to matter, right? So a little bit of enthusiasm so they give you a little bit better of an answer, just because with these people, you're going to have to extract it. Again, these are going to be people with a little bit of ego. They already feel they're in a good spot. But then again, people don't just hop on. You're not going to go through a ton of calls in a sequence like this, because that's a very high friction process at the end of the day. You're going through an ad, and then after you go through an ad, you go through a setter process. After you get a setter call, then at that point you book another call and you watch a video, all that stuff. There's no way they're getting to the end and they don't actually care about this, unless they just don't care about their time. So I would say it's going to be more on you to extract the core reason as to why it's important to them, right? And if they don't give you a reason, you could say usually when people just want to tone up, it's usually for a few reasons. They want to make sure longevity wise, their health is in just an absolutely great place moving forward. Or B, even though they feel like they're in the great pace and other people tell them and they're just, in this amazing body right now, they don't feel like they are in the body that they actually want to be in, right? Would you say you fall into either one of those buckets? I would just say give them a bucket question and put them into one bucket and let them adhere to one of them. And they could say, oh, it's neither. It's kind of neither bucket for me. Oh, okay, well, what do you feel has caused you to kind of, I would still drive it to a problem. I don't think anybody's going to I don't think anybody's going to go through all of that process just to not care about it, if that makes sense. I don't believe that. I think it's
Yeah.
genuinely I would have to hear the call, but actually, yeah, can you send me an example in school? I just want to hear one. I have to hear it cuz I don't believe that could even be the case. So what I'd have you do, send me one in school. Let me hear it, just because I think it comes down to you just extracting a little bit better in terms of the core pain that they have, even though it's not, gratefully abundant or anything like that. You can still extract it to a point where they ascribe to you why this is actually important to them, or what even caused them to want to click on the ad and go through all of this process in the first place. One of my favorite things I like to do is, it wouldn't be applicable to this case, but if you get one of the ego prospects like that, so it'd be like, it'd be okay, it'd be fine. It's not going to really change much. Just challenge them on it, right? Because what you could say is, if you feel it really wouldn't change much, I'm sure you don't just hop on random calls all day, random calls all day to just see what everybody has, right? So you tell me, like, genuinely, why is it important to you to get this weight off? Hey, real quick. So, if you are in high ticket sales and you are absolutely struggling with discovery, you don't know what to do during objections, or just your pitch is a little bit shaky overall, if you are having issues when it comes to taking money from your prospects, I want to help you. So, what I want to show you is basically an entire school community that I have of closers who are there to excel and there to do better. So if you want help from discovery, pitch, objections, to just general key skills, follow up, referrals, anything that you can think of, landing roles when it comes to real sales mastery, there is help for you in this free school community. And then there's also essentially a calendar of coaching calls that you can actually join as well, where we will help you directly to improve your sales. We'll role play, we'll do call reviews, pretty much everything that you would need to be successful in sales. Okay. So if you want to join that, you'll also be able to see some of my live sales calls. Just click the link below and I'll see you there. Bye bye.